do whatever it takes and maybe a little more. That's something that at Energy Electric we try and live every day. Why do we say that? Because it's what differentiates you from the next company. There's no question that, the worst company I've ever worked for or ever will work for is a company that does this kind of a thing when it comes to the task at hand, right? They're looking left and right before they even consider taking on something themselves, or they're only ever doing exactly what they were supposed to do and never considering doing maybe a little bit more. Because what does it take? Well, it takes at Energy Electric and electrical contracting, it takes a lot for you to differentiate. It's a very competitive industry, and it's only going to get more competitive because people have woken up to the electrical industry and electrification of everything. So doing whatever it takes is becoming more and more important to us as a company. I can't even begin to tell you how when it warms my heart is when I get phone calls and emails and texts from clients, from people who work here at Energy Electric, saying how someone went above and beyond, right, to figure out something and to do it, and then to follow up after the fact and, have questions on. You got what you need now? Do you need any more from me? Hey, I've looked at this. Do you want me to take care of this too? Another thing with this fundamental is the standard is the client's success. It's not your comfort zone, right? So sometimes when we're in a job site or we're in our office, we get some maybe demand from a general contractor or any client, a construction manager that we work with that just doesn't seem realistic, right? A tight schedule, something along those lines. And doing whatever it takes is working to that and getting it done for our clients in any way that we can to make sure that they feel like these guys can really produce. And that's a huge thing, I would say, for this fundamental this week. We're all hit with challenges every week. And when you're in your comfort zone and in perfect conditions and you're getting it done, that's great. But when it's going against you, right, when there's friction in what you're trying to do, that's where doing whatever it takes really matters. And another thing about this fundamental is that it has to be cultural, right? It can't be every once in a while we do whatever it takes. Because 2 or 3 people getting one thing done that impresses a client, right, that gets us a little bit of an edge in that particular situation. 250 people doing this all the time as part of our culture, now that's a competitive advantage. Now we are differentiating ourselves in a massive way against our clients. And that is going to, as I said, you work for a company here, I talk about it all the time, is that what's good for Energy Electric is going to be good for you. I'd make that point over and over again anytime I talk to anyone. If it's good for us as a business, it should be passed through to anyone who works here and gets it there. So doing whatever it takes this week means a lot to us, and it's a very, very important fundamental that differentiates us from our competitors. And I think it's very important this week to be conscious of it, like every other ritual we do at Energy Electric when it comes to our fundamentals.